The average life expectancy of a Russian assault trooper after signing a contract is from 2 weeks to a month. The Russian offensive continues, and it has made advances in several areas at once. Russian troops have advanced to the areas of Kurakov, Rozdolne, Velika Novosilka. These advances are causing record losses. Daily losses of about 1,600 people, twice as many as exactly a year ago. Russia has turned into a huge conveyor belt of death, destroying Ukraine and devouring itself from the inside. Confirmation of another execution of 5 Ukrainian soldiers who surrendered in the Pokrovsk direction has appeared on the internet. Unfortunately, there are many more such cases, and we can guess what is happening in the occupied territories, but the full scale of Russian crimes will appear before us only after their liberation. In the Russian army, the price of human life is less than that of a Kalashnikov assault rifle. It is completely devalued. In a sense, a Russian soldier has a price, and it is equal to the payment for his death, which is expensive for the Russian treasury. He is also valuable to his commanders, as long as they can shake payments out of him by putting him in a hole and demanding a bribe to stop the torture, and then send him on a meat assault so that there are no witnesses. This is how criminal commanders get rid of unnecessary chatterboxes. Of course, many are listed as missing in action, often even before the assault, and then there is no need to pay, and there are fewer losses in the report during the assault. They find many ways not to pay, but any one-time assault soldier costs 6 to 12 million rubles for the short 2 weeks of his existence. Payment for signing a contract, logistics, salary, but most do not live to see it. In order to maintain the pace of the offensive and have time to replenish the number of losses, they have a maximum of a couple of weeks of training. Usually, almost none. The Kursk region, where Storm Shadow and Pantsir-S began to arrive, is also expensive for Russia, and the Koreans did not help much. A Russian soldier who was filming a video for Telegram helped establish the location of the S-400 system. After his publications on social networks, Pantsir-S missiles was intercepted by air defense system. All this is happening against the backdrop of a falling ruble, accelerating inflation, and the despair of the Central Bank of Russia. All problems will now be blamed on the central bank. Even Soloviev is already accusing the central bank of sabotaging the economy on air. At this rate, very soon everyone in Russia will become millionaires, when, due to hyperinflation, a loaf of bread will cost 1 million rubles, and salaries will be paid in cash in bags. Russia already went through all this in the 90s. Now the big question is, what will collapse first? The economy or the army? In any case, one will drag the other along with it. This will take time, and while Ukraine continues to fight, we continue to support it. Is Kazakhstan making its first steps in getting less dependent on Russia? Kazakhstan aims to boost oil exports through the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline, targeting 1.5 million tons in 2024, with plans to reach 20 million annually in the future. This move would reduce the more than 80% share of flows it currently sends via Russia. The Russian Sukhoi Superjet 100 that ignited in Turkey over the weekend may soon be grounded permanently due to serious design flaws, making its continued operation increasingly unsafe, Russian sources report. Repeated failures of critical systems like autopilot, hydraulics, and air conditioning have led to numerous incidents. Rostec blames the human factor, but the near-fatal crashes have become too systemic to overlook. In Antalya, a minor overload during landing caused the rear landing gear to puncture the fuel tanks, and the plane caught fire. Rostec says the pilot is at fault. Allegedly, he did not account for wind during landing. But in fact, Russian Telegram channels report that there was a failure of the autopilot systems. Last February, a plane rolled off the landing strip in Saransk, and only cold weather prevented another fire due to the puncture of fuel tanks. In July, a repaired Superjet crashed shortly after takeoff due to incorrectly installed speed sensors, allegedly a worker's mistake. Despite years of development, the Superjet relies heavily on foreign components, and the rollout of a domestically produced version has been delayed until at least 2026. With safety risks mounting and maintenance costs soaring, Russian airlines are reportedly seeking to replace the Superjet with second-hand Western aircraft. cheaper, safer, and more reliable. Rich Russians and Russian officials are very concerned about the information that Cyprus is allegedly planning to join NATO. It is known that many of them have assets, real estate there, and many relatives of the Russian leadership live there. This is what they write. More and more information is leaking out that Cyprus is planning to join NATO. It seems that Cyprus region, beloved by Russians, will finally cease to be friendly. It is worth considering the moving assets, as well as the sale of real estate. It is not known how things will develop further. The Achilles UAV battalion destroyed a Russian T-72 tank, a gun, and 2 Bukanka vehicles. Additionally, they have damaged a Brem, 3 Ural 4320 vehicles, and a BMP-2. Drones pose a significant threat to Russian vehicles, particularly due to their ability to strike with precision at a low cost. Equipped with advanced targeting systems, drones can neutralize tanks, artillery, and supply trucks from a distance, often avoiding traditional air defenses. Ukraine has utilized a mix of small commercial drones for reconnaissance and kamikaze drones to directly destroy Russian vehicles. The prevalence of drones has exploited weaknesses in Russian armor, which often lacks sufficient counter-drone systems or reactive defenses. Additionally, drones can target logistical convoys, cutting off critical supplies like ammunition and fuel, further weakening Russia's battlefield capabilities. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte emphasizes the need to go further to change the trajectory of the war in Ukraine. Our support for Ukraine has kept them in the fight, but we need to go further to change the trajectory of the conflict, he said. Our support for Ukraine has kept them in the fight, but we need to go further to change the trajectory of the conflict, he said, before holding a working lunch with the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. We need to provide critical air defenses and deliver on the commitments made at the NATO summit in Washington. The new command, the NATO command to coordinate security assistance and training, the financial pledge of 40 billion euros in 2024, and further measures to bring Ukraine closer to NATO. Highlighting the importance of strengthening the bloc's deterrence and defense, Rutte said it was also critical that investment and production in the arms industry was boosted.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.